My friend left me stranded in Paris with no money. Hello, everyone. My name is Anya, and I'm 25 years old. My former best friend, Scarlett, and I planned the luxury trip of a lifetime to Paris. It was supposed to be a week of shopping and champagne. But 3 days into the trip, I woke up to find Scarlett gone, along with my passport, my emergency cash, and my credit card chip reader. She left me completely stranded in a foreign country with literally $12 in my pocket. She thought she ruined my life, but I was about to use her betrayal to launch the most calculated revenge imaginable. You won't believe the scandal I exposed. Drop your location in the comments. And if you love seeing mean girls pay the price, please like and subscribe. The lights of the Eiffel Tower had never looked so beautiful as they did that Tuesday night. Scarlett and I toasted with cheap champagne on our tiny balcony overlooking the Seine. We had been best friends since high school. A bond forged in shared ambition and mutual love for luxury. Scarlett, a 25-year-old social media influencer with a penchant for drama, had convinced me that we needed an epic best friends trip to Paris to celebrate my recent promotion at the design firm. I had spent nearly $5,000 of my savings on flights, the expensive Airbnb rental, and a shopping budget I really couldn't afford. It was an investment in our friendship, I told myself. That night, after a massive dinner where Scarlett insisted I pay because her card was acting weird, I went to bed feeling happy, if slightly financially stressed. I woke up at 8 a.m. to a silence that felt unnaturally heavy. Scarlett's side of the bed was empty. The bathroom door was open. "Scarlett?" I called out, but only the gentle sounds of Parisian traffic answered. I checked the small desk where we usually left our belongings. My stomach instantly dropped through the floor. Gone were the 2 blue U.S. passports. Gone was my wallet, which contained my bank card, my secondary credit card, and the $300 in euros I had stashed for emergencies. The only things left were my phone, my ID, and the $12 in change I had forgotten to put away the night before. I ran to the main living area. Her 2 designer suitcases, which had been blocking the main door, were gone. Her expensive laptop was gone. She hadn't just left. She had orchestrated a clean, malicious escape, and she had taken my entire means of survival with her. Panic was a cold, sharp claw that wrapped around my throat. I was alone in Paris, 4,000 miles from home, unable to prove my identity, and completely broke. My immediate thought was that we had been robbed, but the apartment door was triple locked from the inside. Only Scarlett could have let herself out and locked it back. I frantically checked my banking app on my phone. My heart sunk deeper. Multiple large transactions had already been made in the last 2 hours. A huge withdrawal from an ATM and several purchases at duty-free shops at Charles de Gaulle Airport. She was on a flight out. This was not a robbery. This was calculated betrayal. I tried calling her, but her phone was off. I tried calling her mother back in New York, who answered immediately. "Hello, Mrs. Thompson? It's Anya. Is Scarlett there? Something terrible has happened." Mrs. Thompson sounded confused. "Anya? No, she hasn't called since Tuesday. Why would she be here? She's in Paris with you." I explained the situation, my voice shaking with tears, detailing the stolen passport and the drained bank account. Her reaction wasn't concern. It was immediate defensiveness. "Anya, Scarlett would never do that. She is a very responsible girl. You must have misplaced your things. You sound hysterical. I'm sure she just went out shopping and forgot to tell you." She hung up, a clear dismissal of my desperate situation. I realized I was fighting not just Scarlett, but her entire enabling family. I was truly alone. My survival plan had to be immediate and brutal. With just $12 and a phone, I had to secure food, a place to stay, and a way back to the U.S. I immediately called my bank in the US and filed a fraud report, freezing all my cards. The bank officer was sympathetic, but noted that since the card was used in person and the chip reader was stolen, the investigation would take weeks. I called the US Embassy in Paris. They instructed me to file a police report immediately for the stolen passport, but stressed that getting an emergency travel document would take 48 to 72 hours, and I needed to show up in person. I couldn't afford the cab fare to the embassy, let alone the application fee. My phone was dying, and I needed Wi-Fi. My first step was survival. I located the nearest major McDonald's where I knew I could get free Wi-Fi and unlimited access to power outlets. I spent the next 12 hours there. Using every ounce of my remaining phone battery, I contacted my landlord in the US and explained the emergency, managing to delay my rent payment. I also messaged a few trustworthy friends, detailing the situation and asking if they could transfer $200 via PayPal to the McDonald's Wi-Fi network's account, since I had no personal bank access yet, or send money through a Western Union pickup. But I couldn't even prove my identity for a Western Union pickup without my passport. It was my old college roommate Sarah who saved me. She immediately wired $300 to a nearby Western Union in her name, authorizing me to pick it up with my ID and a special code, bypassing the passport requirement for a small fee. This was my first breath of air. With the $300, I paid for a cheap, clean hostel bed for 3 nights and purchased a temporary French SIM card. I was safe, but the betrayal burned. I didn't just want my money back, I wanted to ruin Scarlett. I needed to know why. My revenge plan, which I meticulously plotted from my small hostel bunk, was based on exploiting Scarlett's greatest asset and her greatest liability, her social media influencer status and her reliance on her wealthy, reputation-obsessed family. Scarlett had a rapidly growing Instagram following of over 500,000, primarily focused on luxury travel and fashion. I knew her entire brand was fake. She constantly used my money, borrowed clothes she couldn't afford, and used free trials for editing software she never paid for. But the key piece of information was that she was desperate to secure a major long-term sponsorship deal with Crest Luxury Resorts, a high-end international hotel chain, which she needed to finalize her move to Los Angeles. Crest was obsessed with image, integrity, and their brand's association with wholesome, reliable partners. My plan was to expose her as a criminal and a fraud just as she was about to sign that deal. I started by using my new French SIM and accessing the old bank statements on my phone. I noticed an unusual pattern. For the past 6 months, Scarlett had been making small, recurring payments to a specific phone number using a payment app. It was odd, but I filed it away. My primary task was to track her now. I knew her flight path was likely through a European hub to get her stolen US passport and ID safely out of the Schengen zone. I started checking her Instagram. Sure enough, 24 hours after leaving me stranded in Paris, she posted a beautiful selfie captioned, "LA is calling. Quick stopover in London. Always time for tea and duty-free shopping. Thanks for the birthday treat, Mum." The photo was taken in a first-class lounge at Heathrow. This gave me the exact timing I needed. She hadn't gone home yet. She was capitalizing on my money. Now it was time to deploy the revenge. I did not contact the Paris police yet. My lawyer advised me to wait until I had stronger leverage. First, I needed to publicly dismantle her brand. I created a dedicated Instagram account titled Scarlett Exposed. I started with a simple post, a screenshot of my bank statement showing the large, unauthorized duty-free purchase at CDG Airport and the flight withdrawal. The caption was short. "This is what $5,000 of stolen money buys you when you abandon your best friend in Paris with no passport. Scarlett Traveler is a thief." The post immediately went viral among her followers. The initial comments were skeptical, but I had more proof. I found photos on my old cloud backup of Scarlett trying on clothes at a high-end store in Paris. I uploaded the photo side by side with her Instagram post, where she claimed the item was a gift from a client. I added the actual receipts showing my name and my card number. The floodgates opened. Her comment section was overwhelmed. Then came the legal maneuver. I contacted an attorney in New York, a friend of Sarah's, who agreed to take the case pro bono initially, given the severity of the identity theft and abandonment. He immediately filed a civil lawsuit against Scarlett for theft, conversion of funds, and emotional distress. And crucially, he filed for a temporary restraining order that required Scarlett to return my passport and bank chip reader immediately or face serious contempt charges. The papers were served to her New York address just as she landed back in the U.S. The same day the lawsuit was filed, I sent a professional, detailed email to the marketing department and legal team of Crest Luxury Resorts, the company she was desperate to sponsor her. The subject line was urgent legal liability and criminal fraud concerning potential brand partner Scarlett Thompson. The email contained copies of the lawsuit, the police report filing for the stolen passport, and a transcript of the bank fraud report. I explained that endorsing Scarlett would mean associating their luxury brand with a documented thief and identity fraud suspect. The reaction was immediate. Within hours, Crest Luxury Resorts publicly terminated all discussions with Scarlett. Their social media manager issued a vague statement about upholding the highest standards of integrity in all partnerships. Her professional dream was dead, but the financial fraud was still unresolved. I needed to know why she needed the money so desperately. Remember that small recurring payment I noticed on my bank statement? I dug into it. I found a transaction for $800 recurring monthly sent to a digital payment account belonging to a man named Marcus. A quick search revealed Marcus was a professional blackmailer who specialized in high-end socialites. I messaged Marcus pretending to be a friend of Scarlett's, asking about the service she paid for. Marcus, thinking I was part of her circle, confessed everything. A year ago, Scarlett had drunkenly filmed herself vandalizing a statue outside a major NYC landmark, and Marcus had the video. He had been blackmailing her for $800 a month to keep the video private. The Paris money? It wasn't just for shopping. It was her emergency fund, desperately needed to pay off Marcus for the next 6 months, and she had run out of cash. My final act of revenge was targeting her family, who had dismissed my suffering so easily. I knew that the statue vandalism video would be the real nail in the coffin, not just for Scarlett, but for her parents who cherished their public reputation. I contacted Marcus, not as a friend, but as a potential buyer. I offered him $1,000 for the original unedited video of the vandalism, and he immediately accepted, eager to secure a final lump sum. The following day, I sent the video link along with the full dossier of the Crest Resorts email, the bank fraud report, and the lawsuit to the editor of the New York Socialite News, a highly influential gossip blog her mother frequently read. The headline broke that afternoon. Socialite influencer Scarlett Thompson abandoned best friend in Paris, uncovered to be blackmailed for vandalism. The article detailed the passport theft, the use of my bank card for her escape, and the underlying criminal reason for her financial desperation. The result was total annihilation. Scarlett was not only blacklisted professionally, but was now the subject of a criminal investigation for the vandalism, which was an act of public property destruction. Her mother, horrified by the public shame, immediately contacted my lawyer and settled the civil suit instantly, paying me back the $5,000 stolen plus $10,000 in punitive damages to make the scandal disappear. I finally got my money back and my stolen passport was returned via express mail. Scarlett was forced to shut down her social media accounts, disappearing entirely from the public eye.
I used the $15,000 settlement to pay off all my outstanding debts and fund my return to Paris 6 months later, this time alone, where I enjoyed the city in peace, free from the toxicity of a false friend. Scarlett tried to ruin my independence and leave me helpless, but her crime gave me the evidence I needed to expose her true criminal nature. She taught me that sometimes the greatest act of friendship is realizing when it's time to become the most formidable enemy.